Welcome to another episode of the Holy Healthy Christian Moms podcast. It is Erin Kay here today to talk to you a little bit about turning your fear into fear. So, turning your actual fear into F.E.A.R. And we're going to talk a little bit about what this means. So happy to be here with you guys today. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure that you subscribe to the show and make sure that you please leave us a review so that we can get into the ears of more people out there, women and men alike, who need to hear the word that God is allowing Andrea and myself to be the vessels for. I wanted to talk about fear. And something that goes hand in hand with fear a lot of times is anxiety. And that is something that riddles a lot of people. And it's something that we've almost become comfortable with. Oh, I have anxiety. And we just kind of adapt or adopt that label as truth instead of combating it with scripture. So one night, several years ago, I was laying in bed with one of my children. I have four children, for those who don't know me. At this point in recording, when I'm recording this, I've got a 9-year-old, an 8-year-old, and 6-year-old twins. And we lay down with them at night before bed and we read them stories. And it's one of my favorite things to do is just to cuddle with my kids. Well, one night I was lying down with my boys and I just had this overwhelming anxiety just take over me. It was holding my throat captive, and just I could feel it from the pit of my stomach all the way through my shoulders, through the top of my head, just taking me hostage. And there were some things going on in our lives then that were stressful, but nothing really that would create that kind of a visceral response. And so in that moment, it was dark, and I was just laying there with my boys, and I just was asking myself these questions like, where is this fear coming from? Where is this anxiety coming from? And then I just started talking to the Lord about it, about how I know that He does not give me a spirit of fear. He gives me a spirit of self-control and of love. So and we see the scripture in Timothy, how he doesn't provide us with a spirit of timidity or fear. He provides us with the spirit of being bold and confident in his love for us and confident in the safety that he provides. Because if we're having some sort of fear, we're not feeling safe. If we're not feeling safe, then we're fearing and we're lacking in trust. Okay. So God just kind of downloaded this acronym into my mind, which I was just so thankful for. And I just wanted to share it with you today. Understanding fear, and we explain this more in the 10 by 10, faithing your fear. But there are two kinds of fears. There's the fear of the Lord, which is a healthy fear. And then there's like the fear that is manifested from the world. So the fear that I'm talking about today is turning your fear of the world and things that happen in the world to the good fear, fearing of the Lord. Okay. So I was asking the Lord in this time, when this was happening to me, when I was riddled with this anxiety, like, what is fear, Lord? And he brought me again to that verse in Timothy about, I didn't give you this spirit. And I said, well, Lord, help me to be bold and take authority over the word fear so that this doesn't cripple me. So he gave me this amazing acronym. And so from turning your focus on your fears from the actual fear to the truth. So you can think of it as fear, F.E.A.R. God is faithful, God is ever present, God is almighty, and God is our rescuer. So he's our rescuer, or you could put redeemer. Either one of those is fine. But I liked the word rescuer just because of how it can feel when you're in the pit of anxiety and fear. So the scripture that supports F, faithful. God is faithful. The Lord's love never ends. His mercies never stop. They are new every morning. Lamentations 3:22 through 23. The E, ever present. The scripture that supports that says, God is our refuge and strength, an ever present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea. So basically, when the world is crumbling in around us, like, we're good, right? Because God is our refuge and our strength. Though as waters roar and foam and the mountains quake with their surging. And that's Psalm 46, 1 through 3. A, Almighty. Behold, I am the Lord, the God of all flesh. Is anything too hard for me? Jeremiah 32:27. And the R, that God is our rescuer and our redeemer. This is so beautiful. A nice way to wrap it up. I sought the Lord and he answered me. And that's Psalm 34:4. So if you ever feel yourself in the cycle of fear, like the worldly fear, the unhealthy fear, the fear and the anxiety, say, Lord, the fear that I have is F.E.A.R. Lord, that you are faithful, that you are almighty, that you are ever present, you're always with me, and that you are my rescuer or my redeemer. Okay? Turn your fear into fear. Faithful, almighty, ever present rescuer. Isn't that a beautiful image? It definitely helps me when those storms of anxiety start to populate in my heart. So remember to turn your fear into fear. Faithful, almighty, ever present rescuer. I'll catch you next time.